Myself, Rena Shanavas of Silver Hills Public School, Calicut, is here to talk about Chavara's Food Security Network by Maleeha Raghaviah. Chavara's life was that of a quintessential humanist and social being ever experimenting to improve the lot of the deprived. As far as he was concerned, there was no dearth of ideas, and armed with extraordinary willpower, he transferred them into viable ventures within the given framework of time. The Pidiyari handful of rice movement was one such achievement for which Chavara is much acclaimed. In implementing it, he showed amazing vision and foresightedness. He refused to follow the beaten paths and took up projects none else dared to. His ability to think ahead of his time was astounding. Penury and want was a perennial feature of Central Travancore society in Chavara's rhymes. Rice, the staple diet of Kerala, was scarce especially among the poor. Majority of the parishioners were from economically and socially lower rungs of the society. Having a square meal a day was dream for many, especially the poor who start attending up the school set up in the parishes under Chavara's guidance. At the same time, there were parishioners higher up in economic hierarchy who could be of assistance to the less fortunate fellow beings. Chavara chose to take advantage of the surplus food at the disposal of ordinary household to carry out the Pidiyari scheme. At the same time, the Protestant missionaries had started their activities in Travancore and Malabar regions in Kerala. Chavara may have been inspired by the social initiatives in the fields of education and uplift of the downtrodden. He had set up Sanskrit school that was open to irrespective of class or caste. However, he was aware that feeding the hungry should precede opening of their minds to knowledge. He had requested his parishioners to set aside a handful of rice for the poor while cooking each day's meal. This would be collected by the church official on a weekly or a monthly basis, as in the case of public distribution system among the destitute in the parish. He thus generated a food pool, which the modern economists would term a food security network, a concept which was novel and unique in those times. He drove home the point that those days in one's life which are devoid of any action in service to others would be debited from his or her account of life by God. It was only natural that a good section of parishioners willingly came forward to support the humanitarian venture of supporting the destitute. As a priest, he dreamt of a world where everybody led happy, contented and peaceful life. He believed that poverty was not a part of divine will, but created by greed, avarice and exploitation of a selected few to the detriment of the majority. He took his first step to provide succor to as many people in want as possible through the initiation of the Pidiyari movement. The leitmotif of the movement was that through small but humane contribution, a laudable mass movement was engineered to support the deprived. Here we see a similarity to the modern rationing system of mass distribution of rice to those below poverty line through collective procurement. This was something Chavara had visualized even far back as then. The Pidiyari movement had humane dimensions incalculable in terms of material benefits. The contributions to the poor was not being provided from rich and wealth in one's possession, but rather what was being set aside for charity was a handful of rice from each day's provision from the family kitty. The handful of grain came from family's daily provision and was given cheerfully. The family denied itself that modest share so that a hungry mouth could be fed. Here, the biblical concept of a cheerful giver was manifested in its true sense. The contentment that emanated from such a humanitarian gesture was immeasurable as far as the contributing family was concerned. Chavara, through this attempt, created social awareness and consciousness that had no parallel in times in which he lived. Through this attempt, he had sent out the message of sharing and caring besides the innate human goodness in all of us. Thank you.